There's one thing that everyone has been missing about the harbor rework, and it's this. The new ability, Storm Surge. Equip Storm Surge, fire to throw, creating an explosive whirlpool that near sights and slows enemies within it after a short duration. Same for the ult. The ult also near sight and slows enemies that are hit. And this was something that I thought the general reaction to Harbor, because the reaction that I've seen has largely been something like this from Reddit, where it's like, oh, actually, guys, are we overacting to the Harbor changes? Even though this is what most people were saying, and then they end it with, I think this is more of a Harbor nerf, even though that's kind of been the general sentiment everywhere. Everyone's going, oh, hot take, guys, listen to this hot take. I think this Harbor change, it's actually kind of enough. Yeah, but everyone's saying it's not that hard of a take. But the thing that I thought that everyone was missing was the fact that these abilities, these new abilities, near sight and slow enemies. And think about that. Think about being paranoid by an omen and sage slowed at the same time. God, if that ever happened to a Riot dev, they'd probably remove all utility from the game ever, because they'd be like, well, this is way too OP. So when I saw that, I was like, hold on, guys. These abilities might be really, really good. But then I got into the game, and when I saw the in-game version of this and how it actually worked, well, here it is, the Storm Surge. And I threw it down, and I went inside and saw the slow. The slow barely exists. This isn't a slow. That's the same slow that you get running through this wall that somehow still affects your allies for some reason. That's the same slow that but that's not good enough. That won't be good enough. No. But then I thought, hold on a second. What about the ult, though? This is an ultimate ability. Surely the slow is really good on this one. Well, if I use the ult, come here. It's the same slow. I mean, yes, you are near side for a very long time, but it's the same slow. You aren't really slowed. This is not a slow. I mean, it is a bit, and it will matter some of the time. But I was really hoping that it would be, you know, a slow. Like, it lasts the whole time that you're also nearsighted, which would be a very, very, very big ability in terms of stopping you from being able to get out of that situation. And so my hope was quickly dashed. I thought that actually they had managed to buff Harbor pretty significantly, because when you do combine a slow with a flash in one ability, that's really, really, really strong. But again, that slow probably doesn't last long enough to ultimately make a difference. And so my overall thoughts on Harbor, having seen him now, is that, was it a nerf? I'm not sure I'd go as far to say it was a nerf, but I'm not he's not significantly better, right? He's maybe a tiny bit better or about the same, in my opinion, to what he was before. So, yeah, not that great. But I do think that this person on Reddit, Straight Matter, basically hit the nail on the head. To make Harbor good, all you gotta do is give him another charge of anything. Or, as I say, make the slow and the near sight the same time on those abilities. That also would make him pretty good, because those abilities would be very good. But yeah, giving him another charge of anything, whether it's the wall, whether it's the cove, whether it's that ability that we just saw, and having two of them. No matter what, giving him two of anything of those, and that is always a significant buff to do this. So we are talking about giving someone a significant buff here. But doing that would make Harbor, I think, somewhat viable. But don't worry, I'm not going to leave you just yet, because now I'm going to revive an idea that if Harbor ever did get good, and I do think they've put Harbor in a position now where he is almost easier to buff. If they do just give him one more of anything, he will be at least decent. And now I'm going to show you that if they do that, some of the great things that we could achieve as a society. Because long ago, so long ago, I can't even find it anymore, though I'm pretty sure it came out around the time Harbor was released. I made a video talking about Harbor plus Yoru and some of the cool things that you could maybe do with that. And now I'm going to bring it back, because back then, Yoru was seen as trash, but now Yoru is seen as the GOAT. And so now let's talk about what you can potentially do with Harbor plus Yoru, because you see, my friends, you can now place this cove anywhere. And let's say you wanted to Yoru TP back here. Yeah, Harbor's going to be a second controller, but then I activate the shield. My Yoru TP's in here. Is it real? Is it fake? As the defenders, you have no idea. You can't even really shoot at it. Are you actually just going to spend your time shooting at that? What if people are scaling up here instead? right? You have a choice to make, a difficult choice. And then what if the Yoru, it's just a big fake? Actually, we're going to sea instead. We're on the other side of the map the whole time, and I can place this smoke and potentially that TP from all the way over here. We can do this from donkey's years away and be on our merry way to sea and make this look like a full little exec all in the meantime. That's what's interesting about this, and here is where the Yoru Harbor combo comes in. And if they ever do buff Harbor and don't nerf Yoru, then I'm hoping that this will become the meta, because there's other things that you can do as well. Let's pretend that my Yoru sends a TP through B all the way down here to the back of C-Link. Well, maybe I can use the little Harbor wall to do something like this. I'm not very good with the Harbor wall, but it could be something like this, where we wall off garage, like so. We wall off back here. We wall off this. Our Yoru TP's back here. Oh, the opponents, they're wondering, is it real? Is it fake? Well, my Yoru potentially has a free way to come and split on this C site back through here. We're coming through garage. We're coming down C long. We're coming through spawn. Those are the dangers that we can potentially possess with this Harbor and do some very interesting stuff. Now, again, is Harbor good enough for this right now? Perhaps not. But if he ever got buffed to where he was good, then maybe so, because also these new abilities that they added also combo with Yoru, because near sight, you can't hear anything. You can't see the Yoru. It works. The ult also works with Yoru. It's all there. Someone please do this, because it would be so cool to see someone put in the time. I'm looking at you, Sadak. You love Yoru. You love Harbor. It's your time. Coves galore. Double smokes going crazy. Yoru going everywhere. Yes, I am ill and feeling it very much so. How could you tell? These are the ramblings of a madman. But this madman, hopefully one day we'll get to see his dream lived out. Okay, so I've now calmed down and thought I would actually just end the video by talking about, will Harbor actually see any play? Is he actually worth playing at all in his current state? And I think, well, the answer is maybe on a map like Abyss. We actually saw NRG running Harbor on Abyss anyway and finding some success with it. So that one is like, yeah, maybe double controller is very popular on Abyss already. I think you could argue that, you know, Harbor can be a better option than, you know, maybe an Astro or an Omen if that's the direction that you want to go in. Otherwise, I think it's kind of interesting, actually, because another map where Harbor kind of historically has, you know, seen some play is actually Pearl. What's funny about this one is because of this change here where, you know, any agent can now get on this and play in this angle just here. What you're actually seeing a lot of right now is that this angle is actually causing some problems, because you'll often get the attackers smoking this off, right? Some sort of smoke like that. But people on this box can just see above that. And there's kind of nothing you can do about it, to be honest, with just this kind of smoke, unless you actually also want to smoke specifically this off, which I don't think a lot of people will. So, you know, things like chamber on these kind of angles are going to be a massive, massive problem on something like Pearl. What's ironic about this is Harbor's Cascade would have solved this problem. We have seen Harbor's Cascade in the past used, you know, where you send it down B long here, and that actually would have fixed this problem, and would probably be a very good way of countering this, right? To put a Cascade up here, and then this op in this spot can't see what's going on down B long. So, kind of ironic that they removed the ability that actually would have been very useful on the new Pearl. And then you've got maps like Icebox and Breeze, which, if they ever come back into the map pool, and I'm kind of hoping that they don't, then, you know, Harbor might see some play on those as well. He might still see a little bit of play, but certainly in his current state, it's not going to be a lot. But please, someone, do it for the memes, and do the Cove stuff with the Yoru, because it would be cool.